So most people on Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, any GLP-1 that aren't losing weight, it's usually because of inflammation in the digestive system, in the gut. It's not their dose, it's not their willpower. It's literally what's happening after they eat and they don't even know it. So today I'm going to break down 3 gut problems that can completely shut down your weight loss progress, even if you're on a GLP-1 like Ozempic, and how to fix them. I'm also going to give you a case study on a 53-year-old female that had bloating with each and every meal, no matter what she ate, and it turned out she actually had an infection. I'm going to show you how we found this, how we tested for it, and how we treated it. And here's the ringer. She did not lose weight until we adjust this one thing. Most people don't even realize that they have a digestive problem. So I want to show you what indigestion is real quick and see if you identify with one or more of these things. So typically when you're eating a meal, the first sign of indigestion is just simply uncomfortable fullness. If this is happening to you regularly, usually that's phase 1 indigestion. Phase 2 might just be burping, a little bit of gas byproduct, or even bloating in your stomach. The next phase might be gas or pain, and along these lines, you might also notice acid reflux, or you might also notice heartburn at this point. This typically means there's a pH problem in the digestive system within your stomach. It's inappropriately opening the esophageal sphincter here at the bottom of the esophagus. Acid is coming up and burning you. This is a massive sign of digestive dysfunction. And if you're someone that needs to take omeprazole or Prilosec each and every day to control this, that is a massive sign that there are big problems happening in your GI tract that need to be dealt with. And then 2 more of the largest signs, constipation and diarrhea. Now, obviously, if you're on a GLP-1, that can cause constipation in a lot of people. It can slow gastric motility as a side effect. If you already have constipation, this is something that needs to be addressed, really ideally before you start therapy. If you're somebody that has diarrhea and you start a GLP-1 medication, you say, oh my gosh, the GLP-1 medication has solved my digestive problems, the diarrhea has kind of dried up, so to speak, and normalized things, yeah, that's a positive. But remember, if you haven't changed anything else, you've just added a GLP-1 and it stopped your diarrhea, it's just a kind of an expensive Band-Aid because it's slowing that motility, it's reversing the diarrhea, normalizing things. If you were to take away the GLP-1, the diarrhea would likely come back. What I would like to propose here is that all of these phases of indigestion can be corrected. We need to first identify what the problem is and pick the correct treatments, whether those are nutritional, supplemental, and in some cases, pharmacologic. So gut problem number 1 is leaky gut and inflammation. So this is the silent killer of progress when it comes to weight loss. Inflammation in the gut, it drives insulin resistance, it drives hormone imbalance, and it drives water retention. Even when your appetite is suppressed, when inflammation is pressed forward, it contributes to this release of cortisol in the system. Cortisol has a funny way of increasing blood sugar. Remember, cortisol is the fight or flight type of a hormone. When it's released, your body sees it as a stress, like a bear is coming after you, so to speak. And if a bear is coming after you, then what does your body want? It wants to feed your muscles with blood sugar so you can escape the hungry bear. That's the best way I've heard it described. So because of this, it will pump out blood sugar to your muscles. It releases it from circulation and storage in your liver. This will artificially increase your blood sugar in circulation. Now, the problem is what happens when this happens on a consistent basis. This constant blood sugar will increase your insulin and it will push you towards diabetes over time. Now, let's talk about the inflammation specifically as it relates to leaky gut. In the presence of persistent inflammation, there is digestive damage. There's actually damage to the tissues in your digestive system. And there's these little things called tight junctions that are supposed to allow your body to absorb nutrients into your bloodstream. They need to be broken down. These nutrients need to be broken down into their simplest form. And this is really the purpose of digestion. But you can imagine if there's a lot of inflammation, things don't get broken down to their most natural form to be absorbed. And there are some inappropriate things that can happen where molecules that are not fully broken down get absorbed into the bloodstream. This, again, is a source of dietary stress or stress on the body. And you can get further cortisol release, and this causes an inflammatory cascade. Your body will literally switch into fat storage mode. You can see why this is so important and that a calories in, calories out approach no longer really applies in this scenario because your body is releasing its own blood glucose in a lot of cases as a result of this inflammation. So what do? I would say that 9 times out of 10, it's identifying dietary triggers for patients. gluten, dairy, nightshades, other processed foods that are not sitting well biologically for that individual. And the other thing that we want to do is add gut healing support. So L-glutamine, zinc carnosine, omega-3 fatty acids. These are just a few things that can be helpful. A good quality refrigerated probiotic, a broad spectrum. Gut problem number 2 that we need to address is one of the most overlooked: low stomach acid and indigestion. This is the most overlooked cause of bloating on a GLP-1. If acid is low, which for so many people it is, then your food is going to ferment in your gut. This will lead to bloating, burping, reflux. And the symptoms that you might feel here are just early fullness, like you get full way too quickly, and it just feels like a heaviness after eating, gas, or maybe even some heartburn. You need enough stomach acid in your gut to be able to break your amino acids down, break the rest of your food down so it can be absorbed in its simplest form, as we discussed before. If that does not happen, again, that will push you towards leaky gut and it will slow your metabolism down. It'll lead to poor energy and malnutrition and the need for gut repair. So what do we do here? So to go about treating this, again, we want to think about dietary sensitivity, but going even farther beyond that, we want to put our body into a parasympathetic state. This is the rest and digest type of a nervous system function that we all possess. We want to slow down before meals. We want to be mindful of what we're eating. So if you're the type of person that's like constantly on the go, you like to continue to work while you're eating, you're driving your car while you're eating, go, then just know that your body is going to be in a sympathetic state. And so when you eat, you're going to be more cortisol heavy. You're not going to digest your food as well, and you're going to have more of this action. So just by stopping, being cognizant and aware of what you're eating, maybe remove yourself from the TV, remove yourself from distractions when you eat, this can be really helpful. Other things that can be helpful are bitters before meals. Apple cider vinegar after meals can be really helpful. A lot of the time we will end up doing some sort of pancreatic enzyme, and if we do suspect low stomach acid, we'll use a digestive enzyme with HCl in it or ox bile to help with fat absorption. But these really need to be done under clinical supervision. A lot of people take digestive enzymes willy-nilly, and the problem is it is a pharmacologic treatment because you're actually supplementing more of what the body is supposed to be making on its own. A lot of times people are just guessing, and we need to be a little bit more precise. Now, if that doesn't solve the problem, then we have issue number 3, gut infections. Things that are underlying, beneath the surface, they can fly under the radar for years, and they are gut sabotagers. I want to dive into this case study. Let's call her Tina. So Tina is a 53-year-old female. She was having bloating with every single thing that she ate. She was having trouble with weight loss, trouble with hormones. So we did everything we could for her. We literally put her on full hormone replacement therapy, all of the digestive repair, probiotics, GI repair formulas, extensive dietary work. And she was on a GLP1, so we microdosed with her, and she was able to lose about 30 pounds. Now, the problem was this is about 10 pounds shy of her goal weight, which is really where she wanted to be, and I wanted her to be as well. The issue is that at some point, she still felt inflamed. She felt better, but she still felt inflamed. We were unable to get her a breakthrough until I ordered something called a GI map test, which is a stool test that maps out your entire dysbiosis. It looks for infections, opportunistic, and other issues in the digestive system. When this test came back, let me show you what we found. So here are the results to Tina's stool sample. So it tests for pathogens, more serious things like C. diff, other things that can cause symptoms like hers with the bloating with every bite. H. pylori was high, not super high, but definitely very much so present. So this was something that we needed to treat with her. And I will show you, we want to make sure that when we're choosing a treatment that we evaluate the rest of the panel here. So I'll explain exactly what we did. You can see the keystone bacteria, commensal. This means healthy bacteria. So it actually looks for the good guys in this. You can see here there is one test that got flagged, this fecal bacterium prazooni. So this one particular healthy bacteria is a little on the lower end. I don't think this is what's causing her problems, but we will note it going forward. The opportunistic or overgrowth microbes, these are the ones that we want to pay close attention to. When we think about opportunistic, we think about organisms that are a normal player or a normal part of our digestive system. that can sometimes grow far out of proportion and out of balance from where they should be. And when they hit that point, then they can cause a lot of symptoms for people. So we have Morganella right here, a little on the higher end, not too bad. And then we have strep. So anytime you think of like strep throat, different strep infections that you can get in the body, this is what this organism is. And it does live in our digestive system, and this is their threshold. They want to see it less than 1, essentially. And it's at a 7.8. So this is a strep infection with H. pylori. And what we want to do here is we want to eradicate both. We want to basically nuke the system and then reset in an appropriate way. Otherwise, it looks for fungus, yeast, candida, viruses like EBV and cytomegalovirus. It also looks for different parasites that are common. And another one of my favorite parts about this test is it takes a look at different markers for digestion. It looks for occult blood. That would be really beneficial to know if somebody was bleeding. Secretory IgA, anti-gliadin. These are markers for leaky gut. And her and I have been doing a lot of gut work together. So she's been taking a lot of probiotics and doing a lot of repair in this regard. But the problem is I didn't have her taking any antimicrobials. What that means is that these infections were there originally, and our probiotic treatments and our dietary interventions that we were using were not enough to kill the bad guys, so to speak. So what do we do for her? Not going to sound very naturopathic, but we did want to hit this hard because of the severity of her symptoms. You can do this with herbs like berberine and other antimicrobial herbs. But this patient said, hey, I'm done with that stuff. Let's go to the pharmaceutical edge. And I was totally cool with it. So what we did was metronidazole, tetracycline, and bismuth to help soak these guys up for H. pylori. We also had her on a single strain probiotic. This patient became asymptomatic fairly quickly after we treated. We started her on L-glutamine, zinc carnosine, and some other herbal preparations to help soothe the gut, and a spore-based probiotic to rebuild her flora a little bit. We retested 2 months later. We wiped out the H. pylori and the strep back down to an acceptable range. And the good news is she actually started losing weight again. And at that time frame when we rechecked, she had already lost another 6 pounds. So slow and steady, she continued losing weight after that, which I considered a win. So if you're on a GLP-1 but dealing with bloating, constipation, acid reflux, fatigue, and your gut is screaming for help, and you are not losing weight, the 3 problems again: leaky gut and inflammation. This will lead to insulin resistance and a lack of weight loss. Low stomach acid equals indigestion, poor absorption. You're not going to get the nutrients that your body needs to feel comfortable to lose weight. And addressing any potential infections that your body has picked up over time. This will ultimately lead to inflammation and blocked metabolism. So if you fix these, your GLP-1 will actually start to work for you the way that it's intended. When I work one-to-one with patients, we actually help them fix their gut first, because when you heal the gut, the weight comes off. It's the pillar that everything else stands on. So if you want to figure out what's going on in your gut, if you want your labs done and you want a functional medicine approach so you can actually come off your GLP-1 eventually, then apply to work with us at the link below. Or just go ahead and grab our free GLP-1 cheat sheet that has a step-by-step approach to weight loss without wrecking your metabolism. If you want to sink your teeth in a little deeper into the functional medicine side of things, I have a full blood work panel up here that I review with a patient and show how we remove the roadblocks within the blood work to get them a better weight loss result. See you next week, you guys. Take care.